welcome back to my channel, Duct Tape Mechanic. In this video I'm going to show you how to part out a dryer that is beyond repair. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more DIY and tinkering videos. I recently hit 2,000 subscribers on my channel, so I thank everybody who subscribed, and the next goal is getting up to 5,000, so let's make that happen. So if you've been following my channel, you know that recently I've been doing a handful of videos on appliance repairs. Particularly ones that I find for free on Facebook Marketplace. One, because I hate to see these go into the landfill when they have so much more life left in them, and two, because it's a good opportunity for anybody to make a little bit of extra income, because there's such a backlog of appliances, almost any sort of supply actually, but from my experience, I haven't held on to an appliance I repaired for more than 3 to 4 days. That's the maximum. Sometimes they go within an hour or two of posting them. So I think it's a good business for anybody to get into. But occasionally you'll pick up an appliance that's beyond repair. This one actually I didn't pick up. I was delivering an appliance and the customer wanted me to take the older one away, and I said okay, because you can use these for repairs, or you can. I thought I could fix it up, but this is one of those rare occasions where this is beyond repair. And with dryers, I think there's 3 main reasons a dryer could be considered beyond repair, in my opinion. One would be that if the timer here is shot, this has a little AC motor inside of it, so if those windings are gone, so that's like an $80 to $100 replacement. Sometimes you can open these up and clean the contacts, but other than that, if this is broken, then probably not worth your time and money to replace that. I've yet to come across that. And the second reason would be a bad dryer motor, and I've seen that. Most of the time the rotor inside the motor is locked from the bearings being bad. That has happened, and that's also one of those repairs that's financially beyond the means. I mean, it costs like $120, $110 to get the motor, so that's not really worth it. And the third is this dryer. Once I can open this up right here, you'll see that this has a lot of just body damage on it. I'll get this open with the screwdriver in a second, but I think it had some sort of, it was overloaded with a really heavy waterlogged load, and it just, something happened to the drum where it's just nearly coming out the front here, so it's completely wrecked. I'll show that as soon as I grab a screwdriver right now. So yeah, so I just had to use a screwdriver to pry off the door here because the handle's broken, but the handle's not the main problem here. The main problem is this drum here is coming out the body of the dryer. It's just ripping through the sheet metal here. I've never seen anything like that. Anyway, so that would be classified as beyond repairable. So in this video, I'm going to kind of keep it short, but I'll be tearing apart this dryer. Then afterwards, I'll just show you the parts that I'm going to keep and the parts that are going to be sent to the recycling place. The parts you keep, they can be used on other dryers, and it'll save you a lot of money when you're trying to repair and resell these, because you will have the parts on hand. Alright, so let's get that done. This is probably the most important part, but this is the motor and the blower wheel. I'm just going to leave it on attached for now, but that's come in handy, and that's a really expensive part that you could just keep it on hand and have a new working dryer just like that. I also kept the timer for the dryer. This is the motor, the little motor that I was talking about that controls the timer. I also probably keep the lint screen because these get holes in them, so this is a good little replacement. This is the start switch to the dryer. These can often go bad, and this is a nice little easy repair. I kept the terminal blocks because the little nuts inside of here can fall out, and they can be hard to put back in, so I just replaced the entire block. I typically also like to keep the door switch because these can often go bad, but this one here is completely destroyed, so can't do much of that. This right here is a really old style heating element. I don't know how long I'm going to keep keeping this one here for, because I don't know exactly how much these type of heating elements are around, but I do keep the heating elements for almost all my dryers, because this is a common issue that dryers have, is that the element will break, and then just if you have them on hand, it's a quick repair. I also will keep the dryer belt, especially if it's in good condition and doesn't have strands coming off. So this is a good belt to keep. I'll definitely keep this 3-prong cord. Like this 6-foot cord is like 20 bucks. So if you just keep it, and if you come across a dryer that doesn't have a cord, you just attach this cord to that and offer that as part of the deal to sell it for a little bit more. So we'll keep that. And the last thing I kept from this dryer is the wiring harness. Sometimes these terminals will burn off, like the heating element or other parts, and then you have to order essentially a part from Amazon, which is just this terminal here and the extension of like maybe 6 or 8 inches of wire and a wire nut. So why do that when you can just have the actual OEM part right here? Just cut that off, and then either use a wire nut or some sort of ceramic wire nut to tie those together and make that repair. So yeah, so that's how we are able to salvage parts from a washer that was otherwise unrepairable. Just keep all the parts for the washers and dryers in this little bin here. Keeps them nice and organized, well, semi-organized, but out of the elements, that's for sure. So if you like this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up sign, and stay tuned for more videos.